I wanted to touch base briefly and talk about something that can be a little confusing, or at least I found confusing coming from other 3D apps, or going to other 3D apps from MODO, which is kind of like action centers, geometry centers, item mode, pivot mode, etc. Once you get used to it, it can be quite intuitive, but I guess the way I conceptualize things, to me, MODO handles it slightly differently. So if you are in item mode, or the 5 at the top of the keyboard, and you create an object, and I created it away from the center of 3D space, 0, 0, 0. Now if I hit W, or if I select my object and hit E or W to bring up the gizmo, here's where it operates from. So now if I want to rotate, it's going to rotate from there. But what if I want I always want it to operate from the center of the piece of geometry. The thing of it is you have to be with item mode. If I have just this item, this is the only piece of geometry in this mesh layer, then you can just go edit center to bounding box center, and there you go. And then I created a shortcut key to make it easier. Hit F5. Find the command center.bbox space center. Right click on it, map command to key. It's supposed to be Control F. I have found that, at least with this command, and maybe it's my configuration, I found the best key combos that work for hotkeys are just like Control and a letter. Sometimes MODO would get confused if I like Shift and a letter, Shift S. So if you find that you map it to a key and it doesn't work, just try a couple different key combos. The thing of it is now if I go to create another object here, and I'm still in item mode, and now if I click this object, well, here's my pivot, and that's because this is all sort of meshes like the container for this geo. So in a sense, all of this geometry is considered sort of one piece of geometry, one layer. So if I go into Polygon mode or hit Control Shift spacebar, I double click this, then I can hit any tool and it automatically goes to the center of my selection. But if I want this to be here at this center, I have to select it, Control F. We'll put it in at the very center of all the different pieces of geometry in this mesh layer. And again, that's Edit, Center to Bounding Box, Center, and the shortcut still reads as S, but yeah, I'm not sure why. Anyway, that's kind of something that threw me at first. And let's see, I'm going to create a new layer, a new mesh layer. I hit Shift N to do so. If you hit F5, I just like, shortcut keys. So item.create spacebar mesh. Right click, map command to key. No, I don't want to do that. Just a little tidbit there. So I'm in item mode. I'm going to create another object here, and again, here's the action center, so to speak. I'm going to hit Control F, and there we go. Now, if I wanted to do something like, let's say I have one mesh layer, but I have like a bunch of different geometry, and just make some horrible looking models, and just try not to get jealous of my ridiculously amazing model skills here, but just to make it off, not symmetrical. Now if I just double click this and hit rotate or any of the translate tools, it's automatically going to take the selection of whatever pieces of geometry you selected, and put the action center, so to speak, at the center. You can go up to action center and you can change it to selection border, selection center, auto access, local. Very nice. Like if you have a slanted piece of geometry, like if you had a slanted beam or something, like a cube object, and this was sitting on it and you needed to move it up and down the cube object, you would select this and go to local. And if you just click local again, it turns it off. Now if I select pieces of this piece of geometry and then over here and hit rotate, move, whatever, it's going to take the center of both of these. So just if you kind of can keep those in mind, might make things a little bit easier. But then again, like I said, item mode, I hit Control F again, that's edit, center to bounding box, center. We'll always put we'll always move the center, action center, in between all of the different pieces of geometry in the specific mesh layer. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks for watching.